2. I'm Patrick Redding. This is Louis-Pierre Ferrand. We're here from Ubisoft Montreal. We escaped the snow for at least a couple of days to be able to come here and show you this. I want to start out, first of all, the folks here from Ultraviolet, we have our two friends here who essentially supplied us with the monster machine that we're running this demo on. You guys, what city are you in? You're in? Okay. So basically, if you have questions actually about the hardware at all, hopefully these guys will be able to answer a couple questions about that. Maybe you can sneak around and take a look at it as well. What we're going to do to be showing you today, Far Cry 2 right now is kind of on its final stretch towards its beta. We're looking at a release sometime after summer and fall. We're releasing on PC, Xbox 360, and PS3. And what we're going to show you today, obviously, is running on the PC. And this is this demo is probably about 3 or 4 months old. It's from November. So what you're seeing, you're probably going to have a few little bugs here and there. You'll notice some things, so try to bear with us. The versions that we've been looking at that we saw just before we flew out here look amazing. And we're just going to show you a little sample of kind of what the gameplay looks like. So we've developed a new engine for this game called the Dunya engine. Now, if you remember from Far Cry PC, this is a game that was really about that kind of lush, tropical, exotic island setting. And what we wanted to do in order to create a proper sequel to that was find another location that we felt would be equally exotic for people and really give them that kind of sense of going somewhere unusual. So we've created a kind of fictitious African environment that allows us to bring together all the signature African biomes and environments, whether you're talking rainforest and jungle, or grasslands and savanna, or desert, or river systems. And we've introduced a new vegetation system, which we call Realtree, that among other things, including like subsurface scattering on leaves, also gives us real physics and real physics rigging on all of our vegetation. So when you see stuff moving around like this, these animations aren't baked into the mesh of the tree. It's real physics reacting to the wind or reacting to gunshots from this Spaz, which is an automatic shotgun. And if you push us in close and get a good close look at the bark of this palm tree, you can see the level of detail that we're able to bring to bear on. It doesn't get blurry. So obviously vegetation is an important part of the game, but it's just one part. The player has come to this fictitious African country, which is kind of caught in a state of anarchy after a civil war. And he's basically been sent here to eliminate an arms dealer who's been supplying both of the two factions of this conflict with weapons. In order to be able to do that, he's got to find the arms dealer, a guy named the Jackal, and that means working with the two factions, kind of doing dirty little jobs for them in order to be able to get information in return. Well, the only safe place you can do that is by visiting some of the towns in our game world. The game world's like 50 square kilometers of open environment, and obviously we need to have a few specific places where he can go in order to meet with these warlords. And when he walks into these sort of ceasefire zones, he actually can find members of both factions kind of just down the street from each other, kind of eyeing each other suspiciously. And if LP wanted to, he could start a big firefight in the middle of the town, but it would be a bad idea because suddenly you'd have like 50 guys all gunning for it. So instead he comes to locations like this in order to get missions, in order to learn about interesting objectives that he can take on. And what we're really doing is giving the player, rather than having a linear story that's pre-baked and preset and predetermined, we're giving the player access to the missions kind of in any order he wants. So he learns about these objectives, and he takes these missions on, working for both sides, playing both sides against the middle, kind of manipulating them in order to learn what he needs. This is the UFLL, that's the other faction, the other one's the APR. And right now he's going to do a little job. Technically it's on behalf of the APR, but since he wants a vehicle badly, I think he's going to probably tick these guys off pretty badly by stealing one of their trucks. Now we have a lot of vehicles in the game world. We need them because at 50 square kilometers, you're going to end up doing a lot of wandering around if you had to do it on foot. Now there's lots of crappy little cars like this Datsun Coupe, which might not have the guts for what we need. It sounds pretty bad. All of our vehicles have what we call reliability, like a lot of our equipment, which is to say they can be damaged, they can be destroyed, they can be repaired if necessary, and that's true of our weapons as well. Weapons will jam if you abuse them. We have access to ammunition and explosives and fuel and various other things that's sort of scattered around the game world. It's something the player needs to be able to look for and collect. Now these guys don't want to let the LP take this truck, but I think he's just going to take it anyway. Yeah, they're not too impressed. Caught a bit of buckshot on that one. Now, because our AI is systemic, it's not scripted, they tend to behave unpredictably, and in the real game, they could just as easily jump into a vehicle and chase after LP. We've got lots of chases working in the game systemically, whether you're driving in a rover or if you're on the river using a swamp boat. And so the AI can be very, very aggressive and very unpredictable. It means that when you go to the same location twice, you're not going to see the same kind of behavior. Now, maybe LP, you want to get out here for a second? We'll show these guys, give them a sense of the kind of space we're talking about. I said we have 50 square kilometers of open world. Now this map here, what he's looking at, this is 1 square kilometer. The little arrow is where we are right now. The lighting's kind of a little bit annoying. But if he's looking over at that town, this is an example of a location that he can scout out. He can find this on the map. He can mark it for further reference. And he needs to be able to kind of find these locations this way using planning and approach in order to be able to figure out the best way to approach them. Because he can approach them from 360 degrees. There's nothing stopping him from doing that. Like I said, we have savanna, open grasslands, which you're going to see later on. We've got desert. We've got the kind of jungle and mountain regions like you see here. And we have many different kinds of kind of authentic and architecture, whether it's kind of colonial style or indigenous African style architecture. It's not a game that's set indoors, obviously, but we have certain kind of dwellings that serve as cover for the player. It's destructible, it's burnable. You're going to see a lot of those dynamics in a moment.